What's up, tribe? How you guys doing? Go ahead and hit that subscribe button. I hope you like this video. This is your review for Tyler Perry's Sistas Season 2, Episode 9. So, we pick up where we left off with Andy in the garage with Gary, and he's like, get in the car, and she's like, no, and he's like, get in the car, and she's like, no, and he's like, I don't even get no kiss or nothing. You ain't even gonna ask how I got out. And she was like, boy, you done showed up on my job acting a whole fool, and I'm supposed to be happy to see you. And so he ends up taking her keys from her and all this other stuff. And not Preston, the lawyer that helped her out, he walks up. He was like, yo, y'all need some help here? And of course she was like, no, we're fine, we're good. But he could tell that something ain't right. He could tell that something went down. And Gary ends up or Andy ends up snatching her keys back from Gary. She gets in her car, she takes off. So then the dude ended up blocking Gary. Because Gary was taking off right behind her. So the dude ended up blocking Gary, and he couldn't get out the garage, so Andy could sort of get away. And of course, he let Andy know that he knew she was out with another guy last night. So now Andy knows that he's been watching her or having her followed or something like that. So then we have Sabrina calling Danny. Danny's still in the funk, and she tells Sabrina what went down last night with Preston walking in on her with the dude from the bar, and how he used her toothbrush and how nasty he was, all that good stuff. And Sabrina won't come right out and tell Andy what Danny was wrong, but Danny's like, girl, what is wrong with you? I don't have the energy to be trying to pull teeth tonight. And she didn't tell her, but in their conversation, she got a bright idea. So she ends up calling Maurice. Now, Maurice is still down to the bank working, child, because he said that man is not going to take his job. Now, I don't know how far behind Maurice was on his work, baby, but he is working. So she asked Maurice, listen, you going to let Calvin move in with you? Maurice was like, why? She said, because why don't you give him one of the drug tests that we keep down to the bank for, potential new hires. You could say, hey, I just need to make sure, da-da-da-da-da. Maurice was like, ooh, you are shady, but okay, And of course, he gives her a hard time, but he agrees to do it. So, I'm going to go on and knock them out the way, child. So, later on, Calvin calls Maurice up. Maurice tells him, he was like, well, you want to go get something to eat? He was like, we need to talk about you moving in. And he was like, why don't you come by the bank, bring me something to eat. Now, I don't know how far Maurice was on his work, but child, Maurice was still trying to get caught up when Calvin shows up. Calvin showed up with the burger. Maurice gets him to take a drug test. Now, this whole scene was so ridiculous. First of all, you don't let that man up in the bank after bank hours. He don't work there. He don't have no authority to be there. That's not a good look. Whatever. Second of all, sorry. Then he gonna tell him that he need him to take the drug test. Now, according to Calvin, his father is moving to Florida, and he's giving his father all his life savings, and that's why he need to move in with Maurice. Listen, that shit just don't even make no damn sense. Helping your father out, I get. Giving him all your life savings and you don't have nowhere to live and you don't have no money, that don't make no damn sense. It just doesn't. It's just stupid. It just. I would rather the storyline had been, I made a bad investment, I fucked up my money, I need somewhere to stay for a little while. Like, that I would have understood. Even saying, listen, me and my dad got behind on the bills when my dad got sick. It was just a lot. Even on top of insurance, it was just a lot going on. And, it's just tight for a couple of months. But I'll be all right. I just need somewhere to stay for like 6 months. But this is just so ridiculous. Anyway, whatever, child. So he gonna ask Calvin to give him a urine test in the middle of the damn bank. They got cameras all over the bank. He talking about something. Don't worry about the cameras. They only look at it if something's wrong. Oh, you mean like letting somebody in that don't work at the bank after bank hours? Okay, that something wrong. And so Calvin proceeded to pee in a cup in the middle of the damn bank. All right, then. And I understand that when there's a drug test, you have to see what's going on with the drug test. I get that. But at the end of the day, y'all could have still done that in the bathroom. Whatever. So then when Maurice finally does leave the bank later on that night, the dude that beat him up is out front of the bank talking about some, hey Maurice, what's up? So I don't know what they want. That's how the episode ended. So I just had to knock that one out the way. Let's get back to the rest of these folks. So Andy takes off after Gary, she gets her keys back from Gary and she calls Karen. Karen is at the salon finishing up her last client. She, pulls out the SOS, says, listen, Gary done showed up at my job crazy. And she was like, girl, what is going on? What, is he following you? She was like, no, he's not. She said, well, where you going now? She talking about something, I'm headed home. Girl, don't you think that's the next place he's going to go when he finally gets out that garage? Do you not think he's going to show up at your damn apartment? And when the hell did you get your apartment back? Like, I know that the situation at the job, but did the feds drop the case on you? Like, how you get back in your apartment? When did that happen? I missed it. Whatever. So, I'm thinking, girl, there's no... Why you going back? Girl... Like, if he's really looking for you, the next place he's going to go is your apartment. And then after your apartment, he's going to go to Karen's apartment. Like, girl, what is wrong? Anyway, I probably would have checked into the first hotel for the night. That's just me. But whatever. I mean, you got all his damn money. So, Karen drops everything, including her client, and runs out of the salon to go meet up with Andy. So then Fatima calls up Zach. Zach is still on the work site, and Zach is acting real funny. He talking to Cole. He act like, he don't want nobody to know he on the phone with her. And at first I was like, okay, well, Zach is sort of like keeping it low key, like she was trying to keep it low key when she went to the job site. But then well, I'm going to jump ahead. So Karen and Andy had probably the best conversation I've seen on this show. One of the best. Because the two of them have had a couple of really good conversations. But Karen is coming in the door, guns a-blazing, like, girl, you need to drop this dude. He ain't no good. He ain't shit. Leave him alone. Why you keep dealing with him? And Andy is like, stop talking about him like that. He was just mad. And Karen is like, girl, what is wrong with you? Like, his wife told you what the playbook was. He's showing you what the playbook is. Why are you still defending him? Why are you still entertaining him? And Andy because I was feeling the same way. But then Andy had a real honest conversation. Andy said, listen, I was in love with this man. I was planning a life with him. I can't just turn it off like you do. Like some people, she said, you're going to have to give me a minute. Like, I get it. I know I need to get away from him. I know I need to stop loving him. I know I need to stop accepting his excuses and defending him. But I can't. You gotta give me a minute. And I said, you know what? That's real. That's real. Because we've all been there and done that. You see the warning signs. You know you should put the car in reverse. But you just need a minute. Now, sometimes that minute is longer than it should be. And sometimes it's more detrimental than it should be. I remember Andy has a history of being in an abusive relationship. So Karen said, listen, I get you, girl. I love you. I get you. I understand. She said, but I'm telling you now. You step out of line, your minute is up. Use it. So, Karen is back at her apartment, and Aaron comes by. And her and Aaron had made plans. They were gonna go to the grocery store, whatever. And Aaron was like, well, if you wanted to go out with your girls, like, we could have done this another night. He said, I just wanted to see you and spend some time with you. Like, it wasn't that deep. And she said, well, I wanted to see you too, so I was trying to make it happen. Like, I was going to go hang out with the girls, meet up with you, and it was going to be what it was going to be. And he said, listen, we don't have to do that. Like, we'll just hang out another night. And she said, well, you could be here when I get back. He was like, oh, I could. And she said, yeah, like, I really want to, see you. And so, they make plans for him to come back. He's going to go get himself a little overnight bag, and they're going to come back. And then she asked him about the first lady showing up at her salon. And she was like, do you know her? And he was like, no, I don't know her. And he was like, why? She said, well, she's the first lady of a church, and I was just wondering if it was a coincidence. And he was like, a coincidence, like, maybe God trying to tell you something. She was like, boy, bye. God ain't trying to tell me nothing. Don't do that. I was just wondering if one had anything to do with the other. Um, and then he gonna ask her, "Do you have some money?" She said, I'm good." He was like, "Well, I mean, you going out with your friends. I mean, you need a few dollars." She said, "No, I'm good." So over to Fatima's place. The lawyer, old boy from the that helped Andy out. He shows up at Fatima's place. Now, remember, I told y'all I thought that maybe there was a little history there. I thought that maybe there was some little flirty going on with them. He shows up, and Fatima is immediately irritated. Like, "Why are you at my apartment unannounced? Like, I don't know why you here." And so he's asking her about Andy. He told her what happened down to the garage, and she was like, "Well, me and Andy are just getting to know each other. I mean, I can ask her or whatever, but I mean, for real, it ain't like she gonna tell me her deepest, darkest secrets. But I can keep an eye on some things." And he was like, "Yeah, cause it was just a little weird, and I'm just a little worried about old dude." And she was like, "Okay, well, cool. All right, you can go now." And he was like, "What you mean? Like, why you in a rush for me to leave?" She said, "Listen, um, there's really nothing going on between me and you anymore. Like, that is all it is. Like, so you showing up at my place unannounced, like." And he said, "But I really like you. Like, I feel like you're the one for me." She said, "Yeah, a lot of men feel that way. You can go now." He was like, "Girl, like, why are you tripping? Like, most women your age are ready to get married and settle down. Like, what is wrong with you?" She was like, "Ain't nothing wrong with me." He said, I mean, did your daddy do something to you when you was young?" She was like, "Boy, if you don't get up out my house with that bullshit, listen, at the end of the day, I'm good. I take care of me and mine." Well, she didn't say mine because she ain't got no mine. But she was like, "I take care of me. I don't need no man to take care of me, complete me. So if there's nothing else, you can go." He was like, "Why I feel like you rushing me up out of here? You expecting somebody?" She was like, "As a matter of fact, I am." He was like, "Oh, well, what if I want to meet him?" "You can. On the other side of that door." I said, "I know that's right, Fatima. You better let him know." I said, "Now, I do like Fatima, but I don't know. I like Fatima, but I feel like a lot of what Fatima got going on is a front. But I like her. I do like her, okay?" Um, Now later on, Zach shows up and he's acting funky. And Fatima is like, because Fatima has said she wanted him to come by. Now here's again another one of those situations where I feel like we forgot a storyline. I remember Fatima, before they slept together, Fatima was offering Zach her spare bedroom, and it was gonna be just platonic, and he was gonna stay there because we know basically he homeless at this point. So why are we acting like it's a big deal for him to come back to the apartment? He was like, "Why you want me here? I mean, what, you want me to stay here? Oh, you going out? Well, if you going out, why am I here? Cause aren't you sleep? Like, if we had never had sex, wouldn't you still be here? Because I thought you were staying here anyway because you ain't have nowhere else to go." So basically, it seems like the guys down to the construction site been talking shit about Fatima. So now he feeling like, "Do you do this with all these guys? Like, how many of these dudes have you slept with? Like, why are you taking such a special interest in me?" And I'll be honest with you. If I'm Zach, I'm asking the same questions. Like, if I'm Zach, I feel the same way. I'm like, "Girl, we cool and all, and I appreciate that you taking such a special interest in me, but I'm trying to figure out why. I'm trying to understand why you taking such a special interest." Like, eh. And so I kind of feel where Zach is coming from. You know what I'm saying? But he had an attitude with Fatima, and Fatima was like, "Listen, let me explain something to you. I like you. I ain't sleeping with nobody else down there." And he said, "What about the head guy?" And she said, "Well, we had sex once, but I ain't like it, and it is what it is." She said, "Look, I'm not about to sit here and play this game with you. I thought we had a good time last night. I want you to, I came, I invited you to come back because I wanted to see you. But listen, do what you do." And he was like, "Well, um, what if I'm not, he was just acting funky. Like, what if I'm not here when you get back?" She was like, "Do you? But I'm out." And she said, "Let me explain something else to you. I answered your questions because I wanted to. But please understand, I'm grown. I do what I want, how I want, when I want. You know what I'm saying? I'm grown." So Danny gets home and Preston is standing outside the door. Landlord ain't let him back in the apartment because Danny gave her an earful, right? So she lets him in, and he apologizes. He said, "Listen, I talked to my sister, and I call girls gal all the time. Like, I really didn't understand that calling a black woman gal was gonna be an issue. So you got to give me time to learn. I gotta understand. I don't understand everything that may be offensive to you. You got to give me time, to really figure it out." And she was like, "Well, um, if you're gonna be dating a black woman, these are things you really need to know." So he said, "I got you." He said, "But you gotta give me some time." So they had a moment. So then he said, "Now what about that dude that was up in here last night?" So now Daddy want to play coy. "What dude? What you talking about?" He was like, "Don't play that. We agreed that we were gonna be honest with each other. So I need you to be honest with me because." She was trying to act like it wasn't a big deal, and I sleep with guys all the time. We are not together. And she just kept saying, "We're not together. We're not together." And he said, "I get that. But in that moment, when I saw that other dude up in your bedroom, like, I felt like me and you was together. Like, it hurt me like that." So then he finally asked her, like, "I just need you to be honest with me. Like, how do you feel about this?" And you know what? For the first time, I think we got a good Danny. We didn't get the smart aleck. We didn't get the sly comments. Danny was real straight up, and Danny was really honest with him. And I was like, "Okay, Danny." And he said, "You know what? I like this honesty thing." She was like, "You know what? Me too." And so she told him, "Listen, I do like you, and I just wanted somebody to hold me last night." And he was like, "Well, did he hold you like I hold you?" She was like, "Nope." He was like, "Well, do you like the guy?" She said, "Nope." He said, "Well, I tell you what, you want me to cook dinner or something?" She was like, "I would love that, but I'm actually on my way out with the girls." And he said, "Okay." He said, "Well, how about I stay here and I have dessert ready for you when you get back?" And she was like, "I would like that." So I like the fact that Danny is finally letting her guard down and allowing herself to feel and admit that she is feeling something. Okay. Um. Uh. What else happened? I think that might be almost it, y'all. Um. Hmm. 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 Yeah, that's pretty much it. So, y'all let me know what y'all think. Drop it in them comments. Peace.